Hi, this is gonna be a short video about my new process for reloading precision rifle ammunition, caliber 308. I take new Lapua 308 Palmer cases, and what I do to them is I loop them in a plastic bag with a Dillon loop, and you see how I loop in my other video. My next step is expand the neck with a 21st century expander mandrel. This is the titanium nitride mandrel, and what I do is I loop the mandrel every 20 rounds with imperial sizing die wax. It looks like this with the loop on it. This is the titanium nitride mandrel, and what I do is I loop the mandrel every 20 rounds with imperial sizing die wax. It looks like this with the loop on it. I expand the case with my Forster coax. I really love this press because it's very easy to change the dies, and I just use this expander die for the new press. My next step is to trim the case with the L.E. Wilson trimmer. For me, one of the best trimmers because of the system, how the case is whole, and I think you get exact round turned necks. After my cases are the exact same length, I just deburr the neck. Therefore I use this hand deburrer, and I just make 2 or 3 turns, just a little bit, just to get a very small face on the inside of the neck. I don't do the outside, I just deburr the inside. So that's my case prep on the new cases, and next step is I clean the case in my Lyman wet tumbler. I've shown this process on one of my other videos, and I dry the cases, and now we are ready for reloading. I use Federal small rifle primers, and I really love the Frankfurt Arsenal hand priming tool, and it is adjustable, so you can adjust how deep the primers are set in the case. When I started reloading, I thought that the seating depth of the primer isn't really important, but now I know after several tests that you have to look that it is constant and that you find the right seating depth. Hope you can see this and read this. I think you get the idea from that. After the cases are all primed, I use the Autotrickler. It's just the app. And the trickler starts to work. It took a bit longer because I just filled the trickler, so it took a while that the powder is in front. I really love the Autotrickler version 3. Let's charge. I've also tried version 4 of the Autotrickler. I think version 4 is just a little bit faster, but my great hopes are on Ingenuity Precision Autotrickler instead of this part here. After all rounds are trickled, just last check if every round has powder in it. And now it's time for seating the bullets. I use Burger 185 grains at the moment, but I also tried Lapua Sinar with 175 grains. The results are nearly the same. I use a K&M Arbor press, and for seating the bullets I use a seating die. It's like a Wilson, but it's from Axel in this case. And what is really important is the force you need. It's the neck tension. Should always be the same. As you saw, it was 35, and 35 means it is 35 pounds to seat the bullet. And I measure the ogive of the bullet. It's 84.76. It is really long, a really long bullet, and it doesn't fit in the magazine. So if you have the challenge to fit the bullet in the to fit the round in the magazine, you had to adjust the seating depth shorter. But for me, this ogive is just near the lens. I think it's 0.2 of a millimeter behind the lens. What I found, what is really important, is that the force is always nearly or exact the same. So remember 35, 35 again, 36, 34, 33, 33, 35, 30, 30, 36. So that were 10 rounds, and they all were between 30 and 36. So very constant neck tension. And finally we have 33 rounds with nearly the same neck tension. It's about 36 to 33 lbs, and we have 8, and they were about 30, and these 3 were about 40 lbs. So this will be my sighters, and this will be my tournament ammunition. The Arbor press with the possibility to measure the neck tension was really important for my reloading development, because when you don't loop the expander and just still in case loop, the neck tension is inconsistent as hell, and it wasn't easy to find the right process with the expander to get it that consistent, and it was really important that I could measure the neck tension to find the right way for me. So I really recommend to buy an Arbor press like that. There's also the amp seating press, which is much more expensive, and if you once have developed the method, I think it wouldn't be necessary, but it's really good to know. And of course there are much better presses as the amp for example, but I'm really happy with the K&M with the dial on it. If you use new brass is annealed. Hope you see the color here. And if you use if you reload the second time, then it's important that you anneal the brass so that you always get the same exact neck tension as well. When I use used brass, I first primer decap the case. I use a die, full length sizing die with a bushing in it, and I don't use this part here. If you know full length sizing dies, normally you have the tool inside and this opens the neck, and I do this with the 21st century expander die. This is a full length sizing die with a bushing inside. It's like the Redding Type S, but especially for my rifle. The consistency in reloading also turns into average speed and extreme spread and standard deviation. Here we have 15 rounds and here we have 20 rounds. So really consistent. I didn't put too much interest in the seating depth because I have a Eric Cortina tuner brake installed on my rifle, and I wanted to test if the tuner works, and this was the adjustment on stage 0. Then 3 shots, these are always 200 meters. This is stage 2, stage 4 here in the middle, stage 6, stage 8, and then came stage 10, then stage 12, and I tested 11, but I think it was just me, and then 12 again and 14, and as a result I choose stage 12 on the Cortina brake. And as I told you, these are 200 meters with caliber 308 Winchester, and of course if you shoot one time well, it isn't good enough, so I tested it again, 200 meters, and once again 200 meters. So it's consistently really good targets. So that was my short video about my reloading process. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye bye.